Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM20 story from Dorking Wanderers with me, Daniel. It's season 15, episode 5, and today it's a big one. We're back for January transfer deadline day, which has been a bit of a bizarre window if we're being honest. Probably not quite as big or as many fireworks as we're expecting, but we're plodding along nicely and we've made a couple of executive decisions. And then we go and play a crucial 4th round FA Cup replay against mid-table Wolves in heavy snow at the Mark White Arena, and our only chance realistically of a trophy this year, because we're not going to win the Premier League without the Carabao Cup. We have to win that if we want to stay in the hunt. However, on other news, we've got a good chase for Europe. We're 9 points clear of 7th place, and our main aim this year with the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup is making sure big teams win them. If it's one of those top 5 or 6, obviously we've replaced Tottenham in the top 6 by the looks of it, then hopefully we'll be able to get into Europe with a 6th place finish. But we've been disappointed before, so I'm not going to get excited just yet. We've then got a pretty horrible run coming up in the league as well. We're at home to Liverpool in 3rd place, Chelsea the leaders, away to Leicester, who last year were the side who won the Europa League too, and at home to Derby, who have been having a pretty decent spell and did well against us last time. So there's a lot of challenges ahead. But most importantly, we're in the hunt and we're on course for European football. So if you are looking forward to this episode and you like the look of that table, please do put a thumbs up on it and subscribe down below for daily FM20 content and much, much more. But let's go and have a look at transfer deadline day. The window closes at 11 o'clock. We're going to take part and we're going to talk about some of our decisions in a moment. We've got our pre-match press conference as well, which we'll deal with off camera in a second. But we'll start, as we usually do on transfer deadline day, by seeing what's happened so far in the window. We've had a lot of offers to sell and loan players. One of our youngsters, Sam Williams, unhappy he couldn't go to Spurs. Not in a million years. And the league table proves that we're right. But let's have a look at the history. The only man that's come in is Carlos Manuel Correa. It was already pre-agreed with Braga. Another one of those young players who's got quality, but another one, a bit like a couple in our live stream series, where we've forgotten that you need to give £8,000 a week after Brexit. You need to be able to get them on a work permit, and this guy isn't. So we've got to wait a couple of months yet. Means we've had to delay the sale of Petrucci. That will take place at the end of the season now. But Correa long term is going to be a star for us, and he will play in the under-23s too. At 18, he's got nearly 50 first team appearances under his belt. He's already got 2-star ability and he's got 5-star potential. He's got a good professional personality. I mean, he's got the lot really. The only thing that can let him down are probably injuries or a lack of development and in professionalism, which I don't think he'll suffer from. But let's have a look at the outs. They're more important, and it's just the one again so far. Kyle Brown, our 4th choice centre half. He's gone on loan to Southampton as we have gone out the Carabao Cup. And I'll tell you why I've made that decision in a moment, because it links back to someone you've seen on this screen. And that man is Jan Krizek, who asked to go out on loan like Brown, and we're going to do so. 115 grand a month, his wage is fully paid, and he's going to go on loan and get first team football. Next year, if we're in the Europa League, it's fine. We'll be able to give him games, but as it stands, that's not the case. So he's going to go out on loan for the season. And the reason I've picked those two players in those two positions of the ones that have asked is because of the development of the 2 superstars from last year's youth intake. So we've got Roger Sully, the central defender, who is now 4th choice with Kyle Brown leaving. He's 17 years of age, he's reached 2-star ability, he's still got 5-star potential, and to be honest, he's not a million miles away from the level of Kyle Brown, so we might as well get him involved. He's already made 2 sub appearances in the League Cup and the FA Cup, and he'll probably make his first start today. And then at left back with Krizek, the thinking's exactly the same. We've got Sam Williams out there. Again, not quite as quick in his development, partly due to the unhappiness and not training as well as he could be. But to 1.5-star ability and 4.5 potential, the appearance need is probably going to be quite rare, because Petrucci can cover left back as well if it's an extended period. But I just feel like with his mental stats, he'd be able to step in. So why not give them the opportunity? That's what we're all about. And to be honest, I'm quite tempted today to do the same in the number 10 role. We've got Ladowri at 29, who actually said he didn't want to leave the club, so I'm trying to keep him here for the rest of the season as sort of a backup across the board. He's got another 2 years on his deal, so he'll be fine to sell in the summer. But Gleedle has arguably overtaken him. 2-star ability now as well, 4-star potential, a much better sort of passing and vision. His mental stats are better and he's hard working. So I know he's not quite as natural as a number 10 himself, but certainly one that we'll be looking at. So that's sort of the process we're going through, trying to get some of those young players in the squad. We've still got Tommy through on loan as well, so that makes the Ladawi one a bit easier. And in fact, I might try and sell him today. So we're going to go through with that. We're going to go through transfer deadline day, and then we'll come back for the game against Wolves tomorrow, the big FA Cup tie, and look at all of our results off camera. So, first news of the day, 7.25 million is the offer for Augustin Sanchez Ladawi. We're selling him. The wage contribution is tiny really, given what he's on at the moment. And for a player who's not really making appearances, what's he made? 5 in the Premier League, 3 off the bench. He's not going to be missed a great deal. So we're going to let him go, 7.25 million. I had done that with mind of getting Reece Baird, the wonder kid, the Aberdeen hero, the one who scored the Europa League final winners. But unfortunately, he still wants 140 grand a week, and we can't afford to pay that. But geez, look at his Scotland record. 8 appearances, 18 goals. Who on earth have they been playing? I have never seen that in my life. Let's have a look. San Marino, he scored... No, he wasn't even playing then. So they're in the third qualifying group. He's not scored in that one. 10-0. There you go. He scored 6 goals against Luxembourg. So that sort of is a bit of a write-off. They lost 3-0 to England. 4-1 against Finland. He scored 1 in that. 13-0 against San Marino. He scored 1, 2, 3 in that one. 14-1 against Luxembourg. He scored 3 in that one. 7-0 against Belarus. He scored 2. And a hat-trick against England in a 4-0 home win in the European World Cup qualifiers. Reece Baird is probably the best striker in the UK. The better striker out of any of the English ones. And he's going to be world class. He's only 19 years of age. What a fantastic player. But I'm very disappointed we've missed out on him. We'll try again in the summer, but who knows. So Augustin Sanchez Ladawi is off. We've got 3 other offers there, but they're all tiny in comparison. So we're going to reject all of those and hope he accepts Middlesbrough. We'll be back in a moment to find out. So, news so far today. We've had a few offers we've rejected for Jack Walker on loan. I mean, he wanted to go out on loan, but I feel like I'm going to have to keep him for the season. He's going to be third choice. We'll try and get him some game time. You can see there's loads of offers coming in. And you can understand it because technically he's telling people he's loan listed, but we can't do it with Carl Brown going. So Sam Williams will stay at the club, and we've got an interesting offer for Paddy Bowers. Now, this is the man we signed from Dungannon for a nominal fee, £300,000. He's doing alright, he's 2-star ability and 3.5 potential. But he's not ever going to be better than Gabriel Afonso, and he's not going to be much better than Ben Barrett. So if we can get this up to a high enough fee, I'm going to go for just over double, which is normally my tactic. 4 million up front, we'll go just under double on that, 1 million there, and we'll go for 50% next sale. If we can get that, we'll take it. We can't. So they've come back with a bigger offer, but we're just going to keep going. So I'll tell you what I might do to make it easier for them is I might go 1.5 and 3.5 and see if that tempts them. We'll get the same amount of money overall. Sorry, I've just realised I've gone for 4 there. 3.5 million. Let's do it. There we go. So Paddy Bowers might be the surprise exit on deadline day. We signed him for 300 grand. He's played 1 Carabao Cup tie. He's developed well on loan. And we're now going to be selling him for £5 million plus 50% sell on. That is an absolutely fantastic deal, and we're still a good businessman at Dorking. We've got more offers for Jack Walker. We're going to reject those, and we're going to keep doing that all day. But the big news is here. Augustin Sanchez Ladawi is leaving the club. He's agreed to terms with Middlesbrough for 7.25 million. A little bit of the wages are going to have to be paid by us. For 29 appearances, he came over a superstar. He was unambitious. He didn't really develop, and if anything, he's digressed off the pitch. But for a player who we got for free after he's been signed for 15 million by River Plate, we've got half of that ourselves. So another good piece of business. And we could be making £12 million of profit today. And it's confirmed we are. 50% sell-on clause plus £5 million for Paddy Bowers. He is on his way for Sheffield United, and we'll be keeping an eye out to see how long before we can buy out that deal and how much it'll be worth. So probably not what we expected in the last episode. We are here for big sales. Petrucci heading for Dorking exit, but we haven't had an offer yet. I'm not going to offer him out, but if we get an offer, a concrete one, we'll sell him. An offer for Aaron White, and this is where we have to think. He's not a great player, but he's a good backup for us. £9 million we signed him for, and that offer from Aston Villa is 25.5. Do you know what? I wouldn't normally do this for good squad players, good first team players. His rating's been sublime this season. I don't want to sell him. But if we can get 40 or 50 million, we have to take it. So let's just go for double. 40 million. We'll see if they're willing to be silly, because every player has a price. £50 million for Aaron White. Should we throw in a sell on as well? Let's put the 50% sell on him, and we'll leave that as unnegotiable. Unsurprisingly, Aston Villa have withdrawn. They may say I'm asking for silly money, but I don't want to sell him, so that makes sense. We've got an offer for Derek Ward as a young goalkeeper. No, we don't need to be doing that. Well, I thought it was over. Aston Villa are back. Oh, that's tough. They've just offered £43 million for Aaron White, who, in the grand scheme of things, is a good Premier League left winger, but not much else. What I probably need to do is get to the scout reports and see what we could replace him with. Because it's going to be irrelevant signing him at 3:15 on deadline day, or selling him, sorry, if we can't then get someone in. So let's go to our search and we'll put in left wingers that are in the scouted reports. Let's see what we've got. So the best is a kid from Atletico Madrid. He looks very good, but he's not really our type of player. And he wants a lot of money, so he's not coming in. Peter Metcalf from Hearts. Wonder kid, but I don't know that he's good enough, if I'm being brutally honest. So we'll make an inquiry for him. Because even if we accept the offer for White, we don't have to sell him. Johnny Davila went to Brighton. That might be a mistake now. Ron Warmington. What a name that is. He is a 29-year-old from Reading. Oh, I don't know. He's on a lot of money. It says he's better than Balic, but at 29, is that my type of signing? I'm not convinced, so I'm not going to go for him either. And it's starting to look like selling him might cause us a problem. So I think we may have to leave it. But let's accept the offer. We'll see about the other lad, and then we'll try and make a decision. Unfortunately, our inquiry for the Wonder Kid was rejected, so Aaron White we won't be selling. Mitchell Baker, we put in a silly little inquiry. They want a huge amount of money, even though, to be brutally honest, he hasn't really played for Arsenal. We're going to have to cancel the Aaron White deal. Hopefully in the summer we can still get most of that money. We're going to need him to play and play well for the rest of this season, because he's too important for us to let go. No ins, no more outs. Transfer deadline day is over. We have still got the 18th biggest wage expenditure in the league. Only Palace and Brentford have lower. So to be up in 4th place and competing in that top 6 is remarkable. In terms of the transfer window roundup, there's big money signings across the board and we cannot compete. So this day has ended up being all about selling. We have got a sell-on clause for one of those other youngsters. 180 grand for that, we'll take it. That is absolutely great for another one of our youngsters. But on deadline day, it was just 2 big sales. Augustin Sanchez-Ladouri, 7.25 million to Middlesbrough, and in Paddy Bowers, the young goalkeeper at Sheffield United, 5 million plus a 50% sell-on. So an eventful transfer deadline day, a slightly smaller squad to work with than previously, and we'll be back in a moment to see if it costs us against Wolves in the FA Cup. Here we go then. We've had injury troubles galore in the last month and a half, and let's take you through the results that despite that have been very good before getting into this FA Cup tie. So you were with me last in December as we fell out of the Carabao Cup against Spurs following a brilliant draw away at leaders Chelsea in the Premier League. But since then, it's been pretty good, a slight mixed bag and 1 or 2 sort of disappointing results, but generally pretty good. So at home to Leicester we drew 2-2, Zach Council nicked a 91st minute equaliser. Away to Derby, we got a draw via an early Ryan Lima goal, and then a convincing 4-0 win against Preston in the FA Cup. Zach Council on absolute fire with a hat-trick in the first half. Also missed a penalty too. Aaron White got the 4th one late on after a red card for Preston. Into January, it all started swimmingly. A 1-0 win at Birmingham, Jeff Coppens got the goal. A 2-0 win at home to Brentford, Prescott and White with 1 apiece. And a 1-0 win away at Wolves, Bolter scoring an absolute screamer. At home to United, unfortunately, we were defeated with a late goal. Semedo looked to have got us a point, but in the 91st minute we let one in. A 3-0 win away at Spurs, a sublime performance this. Ibai Nunes, Ilya Balic and Zach Council with a goal each. Away at Wolves in the FA Cup, our opponents today, Curtis Jones got the first goal, but Ilya Balic earned us a replay before a reverse fixture against Birmingham that went disastrously. A 3-1 defeat despite leading at half-time. It was just very bizarre, almost like arrogance. I mean, Afonso made a howler, Pollock didn't have a great game, and we just struggled across the board. But we did bounce back against Newcastle last time out. Balic again continues his good form with a goal, and that leads us into today's game in pretty good form, with pretty good dynamics. And I know it's not a league fixture, but in a good position there as well. So let's go and get into this game. We're very slight favourites, but it's anyone's match, in truth. Ryan Lima's got another little knock. It was only his first game back against Newcastle, so Zach Council's in for him again. Already been the star of our FA Cup show, so hopefully he can do that again. Gleedle will come in for him. And we're missing a defensive sub there, so where is Jack Walker? He'll come in as sub 1. Is there anything else we can do? Balic is a bit tired, so Aaron White will come in. He'll play as a winger on attack. Balic on the bench if need be. And I think everyone else is fit, so we're going to go with that 11. We've got a good substitutes bench. Got a youngster in there. Correa is available for the FA Cup, of course, but I don't want to risk it today. So he will be on the bench as well. Although Krizek's possibly leaving. So how do you go about that? Do you know what? Let's put Correa on the bench. Krizek will drop out, and this is our 18. So we've got Gabriel Afonso in goal, Mazzino and Pollock the fullbacks with Semedo and Mertens the centre-halves. Definitely our set-back 5 now. Our 2 first-choice central midfielders, Boyce and Balters. Boyce has been out a while, just coming back to fitness now, but that allowed Ibai Nunes to get some games, and he's now happy again. Council and White in on the wings with McLaughlin the number 10 and skipper, and then Jeff Coppens on his own up front. Another one of these weird little runs where he's just not scoring goals. He goes through little bursts and it gets really frustrating. So do you know what? Let's go and warn him. We've seen this work a million times before. Criticise the recent form. I've got every faith in you to get back to scoring ways. And let's go and see if it works. It's Dorking Wanderers v Wolverhampton Wanderers. And this is for a place in the last 16 of the FA Cup. 4-2-3-1. Curtis Jones the goal scorer in again. McAtee, a player we've looked at signing before. Romero in the middle, he's one we've tried to sign at various points. And O'Neill at centre-half the same. They've got some very good players here. Is that Witham? We had him on loan, didn't we? I'm sure back in League 1 we had him on loan. Maybe not. Or did we have him and maybe not play him? I can't remember where I know that name. But either way, we're going to ask the lads to prove a point. We're going to get out there, do our best. And hopefully the FA Cup run continues. Ryan Lima's being rested, as is Ilya Balic. But Balic off the bench if we need him. I was just looking in the other fixtures. One of the other replays is Liverpool United. So one of the big boys will be out today. Palace are at home to Spurs, so that could be a shock too. As Boyce picks it up in the centre circle. He's got place over on the left-hand side to Mazzino. And down the line is Aaron White. The man who nearly left for nearly 50 million on deadline day, but he's still with us and he's now playing in a crucial FA Cup tie. It's Balters to McLaughlin, out to Zach Council, back to Boyce again. This is good football, but no real cutting edge as Council gets in on the right, into Coppens. I tell you what, that individual talk works every time. We must have done it 5 or 6 times in episodes here, and I think all bar one the player's then gone on and scored. Jeff Coppens breaks his goal duck. And it is 1-0 to Dorking Wanderers here. Wolves look like they're bowing out of the cup. And we've got a free kick on the left with Aaron White. To the back post. We nearly got ahead to it, but the keeper claims. And I tell you what, we're not getting back very quickly here. I'm a bit worried if he kicks this long. We're doing our best to block it, but it is a big ball downfield. Boyce loses out, but a good challenge. Falls into the path of Romero, though. And he's got the right back Bolland there. Inside to the centre half. O'Neill goes long. And Mazzino's been beaten to it. The last thing we want to do is give up our lead immediately. Bolland overlapping at right back. Delivers to the back post. Jones heads over. And really should have done better there. But it's still 1-0. Though that's the first real warning sign we've faced. 5 minutes to half time. The game's just petered out a little bit now. And that suits us down to the ground at 1-0. But I can't lie, I'd like a second to make it safe. As Boyce puts a long ball diagonally, it's cleared away as far as Council. Pollock's overlapping into the box unopposed. 3 in the middle, it's headed away but only as far as the edge. And now it's hacked to halfway to McAtee. It's a 4-on-1 situation, but we're not able to get the ball back and Hickin picks it up on the right. Into Dukes. Back to the right back, though Balters nicks it. Really good midfield play. Dynamic play, he's brought down but White brings the ball away. The refs played a good advantage, but now the ball's been taken. You cannot play advantage and then not give the foul when we lose it. It was not even 2 seconds later, and Wolves are going to get a penalty out of this. That is awful refereeing. He clearly signalled for the advantage. We lost the ball within 2 seconds, and he didn't give it. And now Wolves have got the chance to get back on terms. Curtis Jones takes and it's in. And we have every right to feel very aggrieved by that. That is poor refereeing, a poor use of the advantage. And Wolves are back on terms despite committing a foul in the middle of the pitch. Absolutely bizarre. Jeff Coppens takes the kick-off and now we need to make sure we don't collapse. Here's White on the left-hand side. Challenged easily and now Wolves are playing out. Where on earth's the heart gone? It's that quick. We're just losing possession regularly. We've got the tempo on high but it's not really happening for us. And Wolves are playing at the back again with O'Neill. Long ball forward, Semedo heads clear, but only as far as Romero. Back inside to his own half. O'Neill clears long. Mertens does well in the header there. Not so well as he did on the challenge where he gave away the penalty. But Mazzino finds White and now we've got a chance to go forward. Here's White cutting in from the left. Beats 2 challenges. Oh, that's Ryan Giggs-esque. It's a great save in the end. Didn't quite have the finish. But the run was absolutely fantastic. It's half time. It's Dorking 1. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. Let's talk to the boys. We've been by far the better side, but we've got to say prove a point because they've been disappointing at the back and we gave away a silly goal. Despite the fact that it was incorrect and a foul should have been given, it's still disappointing. So 10 minutes into the second half and we've got our first chance to attack now. Pollock finds Balters, finds the right back again and they're just keeping possession wisely here. Back inside to the centre half, Semedo. Finds Mertens, good build up, nice and comfortable. No need for us to rush it. We're finding a breakthrough with Boyce. White down to McLaughlin. Loses in the challenge, but White wins it back. McLaughlin goes alone into the box. Saved and hacked away. I thought Council was getting to the rebound there, but it wasn't to be. An hour gone, it's still 1-1. And now we've got an injury. Aaron White is coming off. So we're going to have to bring on a slightly tired Balic. He's in good form, so I'm not too worried about it. But the last thing we need is another injury. Half an hour to go. Can he make a difference? Still nothing happening, but we have got a corner now with 20 minutes left. Balic, the sub, will take it. Into the box, Phillips heads away as far as McLaughlin. On the left-hand side, back to Mertens. He's got his corner taker outside him, but goes back to Balters. And that strike is sensational. He took a little while to settle, but he has been brilliant the last couple of months. And Balters has scored another screamer, just as he did away at Wolves in the Premier League. And it could well be the winner yet again. I was about to make changes, but we've got another highlight, and I'm superstitious, so let's not do it. Out to Phillips as Mazzino heads away. Balic picks it up, but that's really poor. Really, really poor in possession. Phillips again. Wolves putting pressure on us, and we've only got ourselves to blame in the way we're giving away possession. Phillips is in, Phillips shoots, and it's 2-2, and that was so avoidable. It was so poor, I've got to be honest. We're going to ask the lads to stop running at the defence. They need to learn to pass it, because it really isn't working. And we're going to go and make our changes now. Peter McLaughlin off. Martin Prescott another forward on. And Boyce, who's just coming back from injury, replaced by Nunes. Will the other two make a difference? And can we demand a bit more from these lads? Because they seem to have gone to sleep now. Corner kick to Wolves. And we're starting to worry about losing this now. Mazzino off the line. Surely Afonso was fouled there. We're going to go positive. There is absolutely no sign of us winning this game. Pollock at right back picks it up. Goes inside to Semedo. And we need a really good goal here. Here's Nunes to Prescott. Playing in the number 10 role. He doesn't often do that. Goes on a brilliant run and then fires a shot miles wide from 20 yards. A really poor effort. And it looks like we're going to extra time here. There we go then. 2-2. A really disappointing display actually. I can't say prove a point again because we're not playing well enough. We're going to have to say we're not pleased. They're fired up but they're not really responding. So let's see if something happens here. Half time and extra time. Absolutely no highlights in that one. We've got one more sub. I mean, I'd be tempted to take Balic off again. He's been absolutely atrocious. But for me, Balters is knackered and the heartbeat of the midfield is the important bit. But what's his penalty taking rating? Not good. So for that, let's just bring on Yonton for Balters and get some fresh legs in the middle of the pitch. We're throwing everything forward to avoid penalties. We want to win this game. But we've not really looked like doing it. And we're now going to penalties. And I'm really concerned about this because we know that we famously have quite poor penalty takers. Let's go and get into it. And it's luck of the draw at this point. Jeff Coppens will step up first. He's ended his goal drought, but can he score again from the spot? He can, into the bottom corner. Brilliant work from Coppens. And now Gabriel Afonso gets his chance at heroics. We saw it in the Carabao Cup, in the third round, back at the start of the season. And he's at it again. He stays in the middle. He falls in with the dance. And Gabriel Afonso deals with a chip brilliantly. And we lead 1-0 already. Balic steps up. The only other good penalty taker. And he's put it in the corner. Fair play to the kid. He's had a poor game since he came on. Was at fault for the second goal. But he's responded. And it's now 2-0. All the pressure on Wolves. Afonso stands up against McAtee. And he's forced him to put it wide. He went the right way and had it covered anyway. Brilliant goalkeeping. And it's 2-0 and surely we're going through. It's definitely going to affect our next league game. But Prescott puts it in for 3. And there's no coming back from here. We are through. I'm saying that confidently. Wolves must score their next 3. We must miss our next 2. That is the only way Wolves stay in the FA Cup. And even then, it just causes sudden death. Wagnerman steps up. Afonso in goal. He's now the captain with McLaughlin going off. and he has forced a brilliant save with his first and a fantastic bit of mind games with a second. Can he do it for a third time in a row? He can! It's gone wide at the post, and we are through with a 3-0 penalty victory. We are delighted to get through. We are devastated with the performance. But either way, it changes nothing. We're in the 5th round of the FA Cup. I didn't realise, actually, the other 2 games were in the league by the looks of it. Why on earth they were coming up, I don't know. They shouldn't have been showing in the match reports. Aaron White's got an injury, 2 to 3 weeks. So unfortunately, it's been a very eventful episode for him, probably for all the wrong reasons. And there we go. We have got Nottingham Forest in the 5th round, a championship side away from home. They've always been the entertainers in this save, and they're now in the relegation zone. So I tell you what a season this could be. We've got a great chance to get to the quarter-final. Jeff Coppens ends his goal drought. Balta scored a screamer, and it's all looking good again. So I'll be back in a month on a half's time. We'll try and leave it maybe till the quarter-final of the FA Cup. If not, we'll show the game against leaders Chelsea or away to Man City. We've got a youth intake coming up and a chase for Europe is on. So let's see how well we can do. If you enjoyed this episode, the thrilling FA Cup tie and some big sales from the club, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know if you think I made the right decision on Aaron White. I don't think we'll ever get that money again, but I think it's more important he's here. The amount of money the Champions League or Europa League could lead to and the opportunities it can provide means I have to prioritise it. But I'm interested to get your thoughts on that. Do you agree with the players I've sold and giving the young two a chance? And can we get another star in this year's youth intake? That's the news we're waiting for next. But if you haven't already, please do subscribe down below for daily FM20 content. We've got the head coach back tomorrow. We're in our first season back in our native England at a European super club for the first time in the series. So please do come and check it out. There's a link to this season so far in the eye above if you have missed a big job move. So I really would appreciate if you can give it a try. Thank you to everyone that's still following the Stadium Review series. That continued yesterday at 4:30. And of course, we'll be live tomorrow morning at 10 AM, the same as usual. Burnley, the Youth Academy Challenge, and we'll be back tomorrow for our weekly live stream. There's Cricket 19 as well. There's a link to the podcast channel in the eye above. Loads of interviews, predictions, and podcasts as well. So thank you for all your support with everything. It really is appreciated. And hopefully I'll see you next time for a big episode with Dorking Wanderers.